Good day and welcome to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas. So glad that you're joining today as we grow and get educated, equipped, and elevated on what's happening in the news around the world, even in your town, and how you can make a difference where you are. Let's get started within the news. Inside the news today, we want to discuss an alert elevated by the American Red Cross. We oftentimes try to figure out what we can do to make a difference. Some of us just feel like we're in a box, or maybe my life is not worth much, and we want to shake that off, get rid of that mentality, find hope in the fact that we are the difference. The American Red Cross is seeking your help. There is a national emergency blood shortage right now. The winter months often bring shortages because of weather. They prevent individuals who would usually donate blood. Oftentimes, the coldness will stop, the rain, the snow, the harshness of it being wintertime. But there's so much of a great need. Remember that blood donations can save up to 7 lives just from your one donation. You can be that difference to babies in the hospital fighting cancer, our seniors, maybe someone who was involved in a horrible car accident and needs a blood transfusion. Well, they rely on individuals, selfless, courageous individuals like yourself and those around you to donate blood platelets to save lives. And right now, the United States is at an alarming low in having enough blood to cover our country. You can go to redcross.org and donate blood today. It will send you to a page so that you can fill out the information, schedule an appointment for you to come in, answer all of your questions, even connect you with an expert. And if you're not social media savvy, that's all right, mama. We got everybody covered. You can also go to 800 red cross. Phone number 1-800 Red Cross. Pick up the phone. You can call and have customer service experts all over the country help you with coordinating your scheduled appointment so you're comfortable while you're giving blood donations and all your questions can be answered. There is pre screening. But I also know that there are folks who give every year. I have a wonderful girlfriend on her birthday. She makes it her intent to donate blood just to be able to help individuals who need that type of blood in that emergency. Think about it. Hospitals all over the country rely on having blood readily available for the emergencies that show up in the emergency room. Here's the question. What if it's you? Wouldn't you want someone to have found it selfless, to have blood available in that state emergency now when you are in need? Consider what you can do to be the hero, to be the champion. Go to of the American Red Cross, redcross.org, and can get all the information online. You can also go to call 1-800 Red Cross. The Red Cross has also elevated the need for volunteers. They're looking for individuals that can help with their mission work around the world, not just in the United States, but to help American citizens located in other lands. You can also be a hero in that way. Maybe you have time or recently retired. Maybe you're looking for a new endeavor. Listen, as long as you have life and breath, you can be the difference. Again, the American Red Cross can help you with that. We also here at the Power Up want to make sure you're prepared for the disasters that our land faces on a regular basis. Natural disasters are unwelcome, unwarranted. They just happen. Hurricanes, tsunamis, tornadoes. They aren't something that we ask for. It's part of being on this planet, part of this land. Are you prepared? We want to offer resources that can help you get prepared for severe weather, for winter weather. Maybe you're in a place where there's possible flooding. How are you prepared if the torrential rain hits your street? Have you built a kit, that emergency kit that includes the supplies that you need? Do you have a plan? FEMA has instituted through the U.S. Department of Homeland Security Ready.gov. Ready.gov breaks down every part of how you can be prepared during different disasters. There's a way to make your own plan and have a plan list readily available. Your emergency contact numbers in case cell phones aren't able to be used, which is what we found during 9/11. Cell phones were scrambled so that our Air Force, our military could handle the terrorism attack underway. But individuals found themselves in a place of need. Are you prepared readily with emergency contact numbers? A lot of times, folks don't even know numbers anymore. They just start typing in the name and the number pops up. But let's make sure we're prepared just in case. And let's say you do rely on medications. Is there a list written somewhere? Ready.gov helps with any type of preparedness you and your family might need assistance with. You can also sign up for emergency alerts in your area so you know when the hurricane is coming. You're prepared when the torrential rains might be headed your way. How about being able to assist the elderly in your community? Or so that we're not just doing or trying to care for ourselves, but we are helping. We are the collaborator that makes sure that our neighbors are just as good as we are. Ready.gov. Amazing resource just to help you start at one. What do I need to know? Where should I start? How can I connect? What have I not thought about? So that you and your family, your community are better after the disaster. Some of us have fur babies. Those pets are something we need to consider. But it all comes down to your preparedness. Consider family tapping into the resources we've shared today, the American Red Cross and Ready.gov, how they're both available, both websites to equip you and educate you with information maybe you hadn't read or known before. Well, here you go. Remember, as amazing as you are, you only know what you know. And sometimes in those emergency states, we run off of emotion. We run off of energy that we often, have you ever been in a place where you just drew a blank? Sometimes it happens. So being prepared can help to make sure that you're excellent and phenomenal on the other side. Let us remember those who are in different disaster recovery efforts right now around our globe. There are countries across the water who are in war torn lands. And there are communities in our nation that have war torn streets, neighborhoods, individuals, our brothers and sisters in this human race, all need our prayers, our thoughts, and donations if you have the capacity, the ability to even be a hero monetarily, because you know you can write that off as a tax donation. Family, we're not living in limits on the Power Up, and we thank the production team for making sure we have real time information to equip us all so that we can be the difference makers. We're excited to have a guest coming, one who is returning with her excellent expertise. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. There's more after this.
To all you beautiful queens, join me February 25th as we sculpt and shape our bodies for 2024. Where you at?
What's up, family? It's your girl, Terry White Hicks, and I am here to invite you to join me every Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Midday Miracles and Manna right here on We Empower Network.
Welcome back to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami. Glad you're still joining us. So, on this platform, the producers, and those of the We Empower Network leadership want to make sure that you're powered up not just through information and education, but motivation and inspiration so you can elevate those around you. Our guest today is returning with her expertise as a human services advocate and an equal opportunity for the federal government trainer. We're glad to have Magda Gomez-Brown joining us today. As Magda comes, one of the things that we remember is how important it is. Magda, thank you for joining us, but how important it is to make sure that we lift each other and empower each other no matter the community.
This is absolutely a safe space where uh, that it's inclusive to all, and I really appreciate the opportunity to always be here and share with you some important facts and important findings about equal employment opportunity and human resources in general. So today, so thank you so much again for creating this safe space where we can all express ourselves, communicate, and share resources. And so first, before we begin, it's important to understand that when we're actually sitting at a training, it is never a waste of time. And I always say this every time I do a training, because it is actually, statistically, it has shown that when you actually sit at a training or any something that's giving you information, the brain actually retains about 30% of everything, and repetition is key. And so I really hope that today what I'm going to share with you, it's of value to your life. But today I bring you emotional labor, because we all have heard of emotional intelligence, but emotional labor is a concept that is not new, but it's very interesting. I am actually working in my doctorate program right now at the University of Baltimore, and this is something that I was able to actually learn when studying actually emotional intelligence. And so I really hope this actually helps. But today I'm bringing you again emotional labor, and this is actually based in a study that is called a latent profile analysis of emotional labor strategies, and it's by Alison Gabriel from Virginia Commonwealth University, Michael Daniels from the Singapore Management University, and Bowling Green State University, James Diefendorf from the University of Akron, Gary Gregores from the Singapore Management University. I don't know these individuals. Again, this is actually based on a study, but I think it's extremely interesting, and I want to share it with you. So what is emotional labor, right? We've all heard again about emotional intelligence. So according to this article, is the management of emotions as part of the work role, right? And the term emotional labor was first defined in around 1983. Who wants to know? I just became familiar with this object. But in 1983, it was defined by sociologist Arlie Hochschild, who used to describe the ways low wage and female workers, in other words, minimum wage employees, use it to, workers were expected to regulate their own emotions and try to shape the emotions of others to complete a specific job. And this translates to our jobs today. So Hochschild used the example of, for example, flight attendants, since they always had to keep up an upbeat demeanor while trying to calm nervous passengers and defuse tense situations. And again, we can apply this to today. But in some, it is the process by which employees must manage their emotions to meet organizational rules for emotional displays or norms concerning the appropriate emotional reactions in a specific situations. And all of us have to, in our daily jobs, all of us have to interact with the public and with friends. And it is actually said, based on a study, that based on studies, that about 80 to 90% of our day is actually interacting with others, whether that is via social media, whether that is via email in the hybrid world that we live in today. It is in some type of way, shape, or form 80 to 90% of our day, it's communicating with others. Even if we don't actually hear a response, like what I'm doing right now, I'm communicating with others. So it is imperative, right, that we actually know this, and all of us have to face emotional labor. And so Hochschild, again in 1983, um, defined emotional labor as the management of feelings to create a publicly observable facial and bodily display. So jobs that require emotional labor include customer service jobs, flight attendants and other members of the cabin crew, hospitality industry employees, caregiving professionals such as nurses, therapists, and those who take care of our elderly care, teachers and professors, even those working with adults, taxi drivers, employees working in human resources, law enforcement personnel, especially when you're conducting interviews, when you have to meet the public, when someone from the public comes to you and they're emotionally under stress. And so you have to practice emotional labor. And so emotional labor and emotional intelligence are related concepts, as I mentioned to you a minute ago, but they refer to different phenomena. So emotional labor refers to the effort and the energy that individuals put into managing their emotions and expressive behavior in order to meet the demands of their work or social roles in our daily lives. And emotional intelligence refers to the ability of understanding and managing one's emotions, as well as the emotions of others. And while emotional labor is viewed as a form of emotional regulation that is performing the service of others, emotional intelligence is a set of skills that can be applied to a range of personal and interpersonal contexts. So, there are research conducted on emotional labor, especially this research, found that employees use 4 distinct profiles when we use emotional labor. And so those 4 profiles include surface acting, which was distinguished or made known by Asford and Humphrey in 1993. So surface acting, which is the description is to display appropriate emotions, and displays do not reflect your feelings. It's just surface acting. You have to act a specific way because this is a part of your role. You are being professional. You are not bringing your emotions to the table. You are providing a service. The number 2 is deep acting, and that was actually established by Lassany in 2010 and Yin in 2015. And the description is feelings, and it's feel and experience the actual emotions. So actually feeling the emotions that you're expressing and engaging in thoughts and activities that foster those emotions. And how many of us haven't actually looked into videos or trainings or for personal enhancement or growth, where that if you have positive thoughts, you're gonna have a smile on your face and you're gonna reflect those positive thoughts, right? This is why positive thinking is so important in our daily lives. And so that's what deep acting is. When you actually tell yourself everything is fine, and you act like everything is fine, right? Your facial expressions and your body expressions define your thoughts. Then we have the third one, which is genuine emotional labor. And this was said by Asford and Humphrey in 1993, and it was mentioned in Yin in 2015. And the description is the spontaneous and genuine feelings comply with social expectations, emotions, and emotions just occur naturally. This is when you really genuinely enjoy, for example, you love animals and you become a veterinarian. And so you love being around animals, you love helping animals, and that is just a genuine emotional labor or labor of love, right? And the fourth one is the aesthetic labor. And that was actually said by Warhurst in 2000 and Nixon in 2005. And the description is the attitude and appearance and self presentation skills. So those are the four. Those are the four strategies found that employees use for these distinct profiles when we're talking about emotional labor. And that is, again, surface acting, the deep acting, genuine emotion labor, and aesthetic labor. And so this specific article focuses on two main profiles, right? They focus on the actors who use deep acting and the actors who use surface acting. So again, the deep acting is when you feel and experience the actual emotions and you engage in your thoughts and activities that foster those emotions, right? So you are mentally prepared. This is my job. This is what I do best. And this is deep acting. And the other one is surface acting. And surface acting, again, is just displaying emotions that don't really reflect your true feelings. And so that's actually what this study focus on, those two specific distinct strategies of emotional labor.
Sorry about that technical, pardon me. So, what a wealth of information. This is clearly an area that has been getting a lot of attention now, not just like you say, emotional intelligence and being aware, but now how we handle it in the workplace. Tell us, from being one of the key trainers, especially with the federal government, what have you seen as the impact of this study and the information being shared?
So thank you so much, Tami. So one thing is employ these, number one is these definitely affect minimum wage employees, because minimum wage employees, they have to work, for example, and I'm talking about your when you go to get coffee, when you go to a restaurant. So I feel that this study, this is why it really got my attention, because it affects our minimum, mainly or minimum wage employees, and it brings to the attention of everyone that you do have to use a lot of your energy. A lot of minimum wage jobs require, especially those where you have to interact with the public, requires so much emotional um emotional and energy from the individual providing a service. And after I read this, because again, all of us have heard of emotional intelligence, and you can apply it at every point of your life, right? But when you're talking about emotional labor, it kind of gives it a little bit more value to the work of all of our minimum wage employees, and it makes you want to tip a little bit more if you can. It makes you appreciate them more, because they do spend a lot of their time trying to understand you and accommodate you. And whether you're having a good or bad day, you have to provide that good customer service. And so they have to have a lot of resilience. And and this is why we see a lot of and this is these are my personal thoughts, but I feel that this is why we see um, a lot of restaurant workers, for example, smoking in the back. Yeah, we see them. I mean, these are jobs that are high emotional jobs. And you always have to be um at your best. You have to provide this great customer service. You cannot show your feelings, and it doesn't matter what's happening in your house, what your specific situation is. If you can afford your mortgage, if you can afford your rent, if you have children, if you're a single mother, it doesn't really matter, because you have to bring that acting, that emotional labor that requires emotional labor to the workplace. And that is something that I think we have to keep in mind when we're looking at the wages of these specific individuals. And so I was very happy actually to learn that in Washington, D.C., for example, wages are actually going up. The minimum wage is going up. And so, and in Maryland and in some other states, right? Wages have changed in the past couple years. And I do agree that, and actually, the minimum wage for the tip employees hasn't actually changed. And this kind of makes a difference in deciding and determining if wages should go up or not. I think emotional labor should be involved in those conversations.
So help us with, thank you for shining the light on this, first of all. A lot of folks don't think that when you're running in for your cup of coffee, for example, or for your burger or whatever it is that you're looking for, we want excellent customer service.
Absolutely.
Excellent. And forget that that's a human being who's providing it, a human being who has their own bills, their own issues in life. They're dealing with maybe the loss of a family member, we a sick kid at home, but nobody cares about that when we want it right now and the way we want it. So this is so important to remind individuals not only that people matter, but what you give can make a difference in how that pours into an employee. So, what I would, if you could take a minute, because you're also a huge advocate that speaks on many platforms, maybe there are those individuals who make minimum wage or who enjoy the frontline customer service, but deal with the stress. They deal with the stuff that comes with it. What tips would you offer to them?
Yes, so much, Tommy. And I would like to add to what you said, that also not only their customer service is expected, but sometimes we expect empathy. A lot of people expect empathy for, towards a customer or a client's feelings, in order for them to be able to create a positive work environment. So I think that we put a lot of you know a lot of pressure on them. And also, these all of this, while we expect all of these things from them, these can actually leave them with experiencing job stress, burnout, depression, self-esteem issues, anger, anxiety. But how many times have we haven't seen how, in the movies or everywhere, right? How you go to a bar and and you see people actually talking to the bartender and telling them all of these situations, right? And they are expected to understand, to show empathy. And so I think that it's important to keep in mind that managers should encourage employees to use low levels of emotional regulation or focus on deep acting. I think that managers should lead by example, and take control of the job and their employees' jobs, and do those checkups with them, those emotional checkups. Make sure that they provide them with resources on how to best take care of themselves, provide them with breaks, provide them with, again, with tools so that they can talk to, maybe a care provider when needed, or to have a group to fall back onto. But I think those are extremely important items in order to create, for managers to help create work healthy and safe environments.
Man, thank you so much, because a lot of times individuals, especially those frontline workers, don't feel valued and or validated, and how important it is to remember that we're all humans and all dealing with this thing called life. Before I let you go, Magda, of which you've already agreed to come back, but before I let you go, speak, if you would, to those individuals who maybe they're feeling burnout or stuck, but just feel like they're in the career path they're supposed to be in, that one of service. You are certainly a member of our military. Thank you for your service. What would you say to uplift someone else who might be in that space?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Tammy. I really appreciate this opportunity. First and foremost, I am a woman of faith. And again, these are my personal thoughts, but I am a woman of faith. And with God, you're never alone. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. You have to, and everything that you set your mind to, you can accomplish. If you set up goals, and if you also put those goals, translate those goals into actions, and then try your best to make them happen. And if you feel stuck, please talk to someone. There's always someone out there willing to listen to you, a colleague, a friend. Don't bottle things up. If you are working minimum wage, if you are working at jobs that are highly emotional labor demanding, right, or that demand a lot from you, make sure that you take breaks. Make sure that you take care of yourself in the best way possible. And but again, make sure that you talk to someone, and that you have that spirituality. Keep it alive and keep it strong.
Wow, thank you, Magda. Keep your spiritual connection, get resources, take breaks, and managers be the example. Wow, what a lot of information. Thank you for being our human services expert. We're going to have you back again to delve into this deeper and the other impacts of labor and of wages that could impact as well. We so appreciate you. The next time we see you, you're going to have a brand new baby. So congratulations on your first born child on the way. We're celebrating and exciting. You're going to be a great mom. We look forward to having you back. Thanks again, Magda. Family, it's not over. There's so much more after this. Stay tuned. Hey family, it's Tami, your empowerment coach with this elevation moment, reminding you to unlock your potential. A lot of times we get stuck in the situation because it hurts, because it's hard, because we're distracted, because it's so loud, the noise, the distraction. There's things that keep us in the moment, and we forget there's so much more to us that we have yet to experience, even see. But you have the power to unlock it. Once you turn those shoulds into musts, once you take your dreams and make them goals and then make them progress steps and then get out there and start making it happen, you'll be surprised at the amazing you that's produced. In spite of all the dirt being thrown on you, how you turn out to be that amazing rose. All because your greatness can't be hampered. So get up and continue to be great. Welcome back to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami, and we're going to go right into our career elevation segment. We're going to talk today about what you need to do, how you should move forward, the next steps necessary if you're looking to advance your career. There are different things at your fingertips, different resources we often forget about, and today we want to elevate them for you. Important to first acknowledge that if you're in a place where you're seeking to shift, that shifts are good. Might not feel good all the time, but they're always going to help you get to your next level. Let me give you an example. I remember a friend who was working in a job he absolutely hated. Couldn't stand going to work every day, came home miserable, talking about, I hate my job. Years, never found anything he liked, didn't connect with folks, just disliked the work. And then they laid off everybody in his division. So now he's in a different place of stress. I need a job. I don't know what to do. So when I had an opportunity to career coach him, I stepped back and just asked him one question. In this shift, What would you like to be doing? What does your dream job look like? What would you love to be doing every day? And if you can't put your finger on a specific job, like receptionist or administrative assistant or frontline chef, if you can't put your finger on the title of a job, what area would you like to work in? What would bring you joy? Is it working with the babies? Are you someone who just loves kids all the time? Do you love seniors? My goodness, we can't have enough folks working with our geriatric community. If you're not sure of the actual job, find the area, the venue, what makes your heart happy. Because then what you identify no longer becomes work. It's just you enjoying life. You shift now into, I love what I do. So I do what I love. Sometimes, again, they don't feel good. That pink slip he received put him in a drastic state of having to acknowledge he wasn't ready financially to be laid off. He didn't have at least a month or two of bill money in the bank. So now he has to go through new steps. We're trying to figure out quickly how to survive. But in that moment, in the moment of unsurety, in the moment of it not knowing, or maybe even anxiety, maybe even nervousness, might even cause for relocation to another state. But have you ever found a state you wanted to live in? They're hiring there. But if we're in a place where you feel stuck, then you're not living at your fullest potential. Do you really believe that you were created to be miserable? How about make the decision, I'm going to live for me, and I'm going to be the best me. I'm going to live out loud and on purpose. And the first thing I'm going to do is give myself permission to go into a field I've always wanted to work in. Can I tell you that it's not too late? Come on, for my folks that have years on this one job. We saw in the pandemic how there were many, many, many people who worked for businesses that they were waiting to retire from, knowing they would get a pension. And the whole company is gone, including their pension. Shifts might not feel good, but I promise if you stay focused and develop your plan and decide, make the decision to move forward into something you love, now you're happier. And it's not even about the money. It's that I just love what I do because you deserve it. You deserve all the greatness that's in front of you. But sometimes you need somebody to remind you of that. So here you go. I'm Tami. We're on the We Empower Network, the entire Power Up Show. You deserve to be happy. You have to define, though, what your happy is. And here's the thing, where you are now might not be where you are in 20 years. It wasn't where you were 20 years ago. Even if you were with the same company, were you in the exact same job? And let's say, Tami, I was in this job, I've been stuck in this job for 20 years. Have you grown in any way that could help lift you, educate you, even advance you into a better place? If not, I have news for you, and I need everybody to know. Tami said this. If you never heard it before, you cannot change the past. That includes a few minutes ago. So living in regret, living in the I shoulda, woulda, coulda, I wish I had, it's just taking time away from you planning your future, from you figuring out what I want to do next. So here we go. How can I start, Tami? Remember, on the Power Up, we equip and educate. How? Where should I go? What should I do? I'm so glad you asked. We want to recommend a site to you from the United States Department of Labor. The site is careeronestop.org. The careeronestop.org site has everything from how you can take an assessment of your skills to figure out, do I want to stay an accountant and just move to be an accountant in hospitals? Because I lost so many family during the pandemic. I want to get in the healthcare system and make a difference. They're hiring for accountants. Or do I really not like crunching numbers? I have this on my resume, but what else can I do to move into another field? I've got news for you. They need accountants as teachers to teach that accounting class. They need people who understand how to crunch numbers as auditors, as investigators, in the police force, in so many different areas. Don't live in the limits of what I've been doing is all I can do. CareerOneStop.org. They offer matches. Target, they help you figure out different occupations. They offer training. There's many different ways to use this particular website to search the where do I start. I always recommend taking an opportunity to connect with somebody that can be a third party, even an accountability partner. Maybe you need a career coach. Maybe you need a financial advisor. Maybe you need a therapist to help you figure out the stuck scenario. What did you do in your past that makes you feel like this is all I'm worth? Whatever you need is at your fingertips. And family, we're in the information age. So easy now to Google and find information, to listen to YouTube videos while you're walking, while you're driving, that can pour knowledge into you. So when you speak in that interview, you know the lingo of what you're trying to be hired for. So not just the fact that now something has to be different, but I want to be better after the difference. After this, when I get where I'm going, I want to be better. And it's only up from here. There's no going backwards. So I want to grow so that I can get to the next leg, the next rung of this ladder. And then I want to be already reaching for the next one, because life is a journey. See, once you get to one point of success, there's a million other points of success waiting for you. Just we have to stop limiting ourselves. So make this your decision. Right today, I decide to be happy. And that looks like this. Now, let me help for my folks, the ones that say, Tami, you speak all that good stuff, but it's not happening for me. I just want to encourage you to know the only person on this planet that can make it better for you is you. And you have all the power in your hands, in your mind. You have all the gifts and talents that you need to win. You just have to put one foot in front of each other. See, remember, a toddler, they might fall and get up, but they're still going to keep going for that toy they see, or to run to mom or dad on the sofa. They're going to keep falling and they're going to get right back up and laugh while they're doing it. We as grown folk forget that a fall is not a failure. It's oftentimes God might be even pushing you. If you've been stuck in that job for 20 years, were you really going to leave on your own? Might possibly be the shift was to help you make that leap you needed to get out of your comfort zone and decide, you know what? No more boxes. I don't want to live in a box anymore. I want to live in a place of new and excitement. I'm going to go get those certifications. I always thought I needed to. I just never prioritized it. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to make sure that I tap into the stuff I love. I love writing. There's book clubs. There are anthologies looking for authors. There are so many different things out there, blogs and magazines. We limit us. So go to CareerOneStop.org. Tap into this resource and how they can help. Also, the resources around you. And most importantly, know it's just a shift. It's not the end. It's an and in a sentence. I'm great and allowed to experience all in front of me. Going to be more to me in this year, and let them watch you win. Family, we hope that this career elevation segment was helpful, and we look forward to sharing our wrap up. So stay tuned. There's more after this.
Hi, guys. It's Tina Wynn, your host of the podcast, You See Me. I want you guys to stay encouraged, continue to come out and see me, and most importantly, see yourselves. Remember, the only way that you can truly enjoy life is to see other people so that you can enjoy the beauty of seeing yourself. Come join me Saturdays at 4 on the We Empowered Network. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing segment today. We thank you for joining us and getting powered up together. We welcome first this morning Inside the News as we discuss the alert elevated by the American Red Cross, who's experiencing an emergency blood shortage. They need your help. You don't know if it might be you that's experienced a horrible trauma, have to be rushed into emergency surgery. You don't know if you might need that blood transfusion because maybe your iron drops and it's unexpected. But you also have the power right now to help others you may never meet. Tell that, the champion that you are, to the world. 7 lives can be saved from one donation. Babies, seniors, your neighbors, maybe your children, maybe mom. You never know. But it starts with you being selfless. Please go to redcross.org or call them at 800 Red Cross and allow them to answer your questions, go through your pre-screenings so you can donate blood today. And they're seeking volunteers to help with their mission work. Maybe you have time on your hands. Maybe you've been looking for a new project. How about those who have retired? You retired from one thing, but as long as you have life, breath, and strength, you can still be the winner for someone. Consider tapping into the American Red Cross as a volunteer. Call them or go online today. Also, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security elevates it ready.gov, a way so that we're prepared during any type of disaster. The hard part of disaster is the unknown, the unsurety, dealing with everything at stake. You can plan now so that you're prepared, so that the seniors around you have their medication list in case they can't find their bottles because you just grabbed a bag and ran. Maybe your pets, how you can make sure your entire family is covered. Ready.gov. Whether it's winter issues or storm issues, even signing up for emergency alerts. How about know what's getting ready to happen in your area? See, here we equip and educate you so you can be empowered. We also bought one of our most amazing advocates and federal government trainers, someone who just has a heart for people of all colors, ethnicities, regardless of where they are around this land. We thank Magda Gomez-Brown for joining us today as she shared insight on emotional labor. Listen, how we ought to appreciate and support those who are doing the best they can in customer service jobs. Do you know that it's hard to keep smiling when you're dealing with something at home? You know that because you've had to do it. How much more important is it that we smile and support those when you're picking up your French fries, when you're in the grocery store checkout line? Just because they might be getting a huge, might not be receiving a huge wage, where they might be driving the car that you judge to be important, does not devalue their importance. The bank tellers, those, as Magda mentioned, in the skies with us, those stewardesses, we want them to respond, to stay trained, to be helpful. A lot of those who are in customer service, their jobs even rely on tips. They don't get a full wage. They get compensated knowing there's tips coming. Individual might be going home to, that's so important that you touch them, even in a small way. Thank you, Magda, for joining us and elevating the importance of emotional labor and how it ties into emotional intelligence. And then we just ended with our career elevation segment, sending you to a resource by the U.S. Department of Labor, the careeronestop.org. How you can, in a moment of shift, maybe you're planning to move in a new job. Maybe you're getting tired of where you're working and just don't know where to start. Or you might have been one of those who received a pink slip and just don't know how to move forward. The pandemic elevated the need for us to think bigger, to not be stuck in believing that this one income is how it's going to last forever. We saw companies at the thousands close their doors. And these were major companies. We saw Fortune 500 companies drop branches because they lost contracts, close divisions and departments. Maybe even the favorite store we used to shop at, now it's 100% online. You can't walk into that store anymore because costs and the impact of not being able to shop, everything through the pandemic elevated our awareness of the need to think differently, to live better, to know that we're in a new age, we're in a new season. Just because you've been doing it the same way doesn't mean it's the right way for right now. Can I share with you that even if you're bawling and shot calling right now, you live out ahead, sister, brother. Go ahead and do it. However, you're going to be a senior one day when you're going to have to rely on people and maybe even systems. If you put in a healthcare system, if you have a home health aide coming to you, if you're in a place where just this body that's natural, right? It ages. Gravity takes over. Your heart gets weaker. Our bones start to return to the dust from whence we're from. So what you do now, health-wise, makes a difference in how you're going to be at 80, 90, 100. But the baller you are right now might not be able to ball as much then, where you'll have to rely on someone to travel with you. And maybe you're in a place right now where you're doing that minimum wage job, but you have big dreams. We want to encourage you to start planning to live those dreams. Why not? But it all starts with a decision that I'm worth this effort. I'm worth this focus. And I'm going to commit to getting connected to information and resources. Go to careeronestop.org. Start being your own number one fan. Start reminding yourself that I'm here and I'm here for a purpose. Believing in yourself first. I want to share these comments as we wrap up. Oftentimes we look for validation from others. That's a hard thing when it doesn't happen. There are sadly individuals who feel suicidal because they had a breakup from someone they thought loved them endlessly, unconditionally, and they stepped out on them. Or they had their everything in this job and the fact that they were going to get this promotion and be this director. And it might be that you got the director in you, but it's not meant to be at this job. So you got to get where the people love you so you can escalate. See, life is a frame in a movie. Where you are now is not permanent. It's temporary. It's a chapter in a book. Your book, The Best of Tami. Come on with the title of my new book. I'm going to have to do that now. I just spoke that thing. But you are the best fan for you. And how you can help yourself move forward is to decide and then make a step. Whether it's writing things down, make that plan. We're talking about goal setting, or whether it's tapping into those advisors, those mentors, the counselor, maybe even just walking in to speak with a minister at the local church, at the parish up the street. Maybe the rabbi is the one you need to connect with. Who knows? But everything is around you waiting for you to tap into it. And always remember, reading is fundamental. You have the power to get that Wall Street Journal and find out what's going on the financial scene. Even if it doesn't make sense at first, the more you learn, the more you articulate, the more you read, the more powerful you become, especially if numbers is your thing or you're considering investments. Knowledge. I tell all the time how you can find ways to ebook your life right now. And what are you doing while you're commuting? Are you on the train an hour to go to work? That's 2 hours of reading, 2 hours of ebooking. That's 2 hours you can find a way to maximize, especially when you're going home to new babies and you know your life is the kids, or you're the caregiver for your parents and you know every move they make, you've got to support. It's not about the limits. Don't live in limits. Identify the things that you want to do and let's make that happen. As always on the Power Up, we thank our production team, the best on the land. We thank the We Empower Network for hosting this show. We also thank our guest, Magda, for joining us, and all who serve our country, the active military, and our veterans who trailblazed in their service. We thank those on the front line in the medical fields who let us come and cough on them, and then they go home to their loved ones. Those who put themselves in harm's way, our 911 responders, law enforcement, firefighters across the land. Whatever your role is that helps us, we thank you, us as human beings. And we always remember those who are in other lands across the water. Our family members who are here are worried about their loved ones in different places like Sudan and Haiti, those war-torn countries that are over in Israel and Palestine, wherever it might be. We extend our hearts and our prayers, and when able, send donations to the different communities, the different organizations who make it their mission to help, to get water to someone who doesn't have fresh water. Can you get that? The basic necessities of life, safety, meals, education for children. There are some things we might take advantage of, others live in hope for. How can you be the champion? How can you make a difference? That's the charge and the challenge we here at the Power Up send to you today. We thank you for joining us. As always, please take this information, share it with your family and those around you. If you're a coach, a community leader, civic association, however you're involved, be the difference where you are and stay an advocate for good, because you are the one who is empowered, elevated to be where you are in that moment so that others can learn from you. Family, until next time, stay powered up.